Welcome to another episode of By the Numbers. I'm Renee Smith.
And I'm Michelle Fleming.
Well, today, Michelle, we're going to do something a little different.
Okay.
We're going to have parents find out ways that they can help students make connections between different forms of a number.
I was going to say, I recognize these.
Yep, we have base 10 blocks here, and most people are not going to have base 10 blocks at home. But most of our children see them in school. So I wanted to show parents what they look like so that they can do an activity with their students even if they don't have these at home.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
Very cool.
So
So with the base 10 blocks,
right.
This is a 1.
This is worth
1 unit.
When we're talking about whole numbers, which is what we're going to talk about today. This is worth
unit.
1 because there's one little cube.
And these are worth
10 because
1, 2, 3, 4,
counted
5,
them.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each of these have 10 in them.
Right.
And then I'm assuming this is 100.
This is
1,
because
10,
there's
100.
10 rows of 10.
Okay.
So basically, students get used to seeing these at school and know pretty well what they represent.
Okay.
So what we want to move kids from is actually from having to play with these all the time or use these to solve problems.
As a math tool.
It is a math tool.
Okay.
We want them to start to move from the concrete form to a picture form, a representational form.
Okay.
So again, I've kind of drawn that out, what that would look like.
Okay.
But that's cumbersome to always have to draw 100 squares and 10 and a 1. So we start to use a little bit of symbol notation in schools, and we just draw. Let's see if we can get rid of these and make it flat so I can draw.
Okay.
We would just draw a flat, and kids would know that that really is worth 100.
Okay.
And they would just draw a long stick to be the 10, and they might use a dot or just a little square to be the 1.
Okay.
And so they can start to see that. So if we wanted to pull those back on, and notice that when I had them laid out here, I just had them out there randomly. I didn't have all of the same thing together necessarily.
Okay.
Because that's a really important skill for kids to start to be able to put things in place value order. So if you
not have it done for them.
And not have it done for them, like a lot of textbooks tend to do. So if you were going to tell me how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones you had, what would you tell me?
I have 1 100.
Okay.
I have 4 tens and 3 ones.
And that's important for kids to start to see as well, that they see the word form and see how many of each of those places they have. And then the next step would be to combine them and find out the actual word or the numeral form. And so we've gone from a very concrete to a picture. I didn't have the exact same picture that we had there, but we could make that. We could put 100. I could draw 4 sticks and then 3 of the unit cubes, and then make that connection to word form. And then finally, what would that number look like if it was in standard form, the way we would typically write
143.
it? 143. So you see 4 different ways to see the same number, and that's a really important skill. So if I were doing this at home with my children, obviously I probably don't have this. I'm going to forget about the concrete, and I would probably just go straight to a picture. So if I did this for you, oops, got a little big there. What number would you tell me that is? How many hundreds?
I have 3 hundreds.
3 hundreds?
I have 4 tens, and I have 4 ones.
And what number would that be?
344.
344.
Okay, now I have a question.
All right.
Because I understand that they use the concrete and then they're to go to the representational or pictorial. Now I've seen other pictorial representations.
Right.
So can it be, like I've seen
Want another piece of paper?
another piece of paper. I've just seen it done where they do the square for the hundreds, but they just do a line
That'll
for
work.
the tens and the X's for the ones.
Absolutely.
So as long as they know what the representation
Right,
is.
as long as they know that that's the 1, that's the 10, and that's the 100, that'll work.
Very cool. That almost looks like 100 written with the boxes. But it's actually 212, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, that's a whole nother topic. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of By the Numbers.
Join us for other episodes, and you can check out other episodes at mykidstturn.com.